Hi, first graders. Before we start to talk about writing, I have a story for you. This story is called The Best Story, and it's written by Eileen Spinelli, and it's illustrated by Anne Wilsdorf. This story is about a girl who is trying to write the very best story, but she has a little bit of trouble, and so she asks some people around her for advice. Do you ever do that? When something's hard for you, do you ever ask for help or advice? I know I do. So let's open the book and see what kind of advice she gets. Here's our title page with the title of the book again, The Best Story, the author, and the illustrator's name. And here's a cat. I wonder if we'll see this cat on the pages of this book more often. The Red Brick Library was having a contest. Write the best story. Win first prize. First prize was a ride on the Super Duper Looper roller coaster with my favorite author, Anne Miles, who wrote The Runaway Roller Coaster. Wow, first prizes don't get any better than that. And here's the sign. The Red Brick Library Contest. Write the best story and win first prize. A ride on the Super Duper Looper roller coaster with Anne Miles, author of The Runaway Roller Coaster. I ran home, went to my room, shut the door. I sharpened 5 pencils, opened my notebook to a brand new page, and thought, and thought, and thought. And all I could think was this writing stuff was hard and lonely. Maybe I needed help. Do you see the cat on this page? I told my brother Tim about the contest. The best stories, said my brother Tim, have lots of action. So I wrote a lot of action into my story. I wrote about a bus hurtling down the highway with no one at the wheel. I added a tornado and a pirate and a great white shark. But the story didn't seem quite right. Here's the girl down here in the corner, and there's her cat again with her. So I asked my dad, and he said the best stories have plenty of humor. So I changed the great white shark to a monkey, and I put the monkey at the wheel of the bus. And I turned the tornado into turnips, and I dressed the pirate in polka-dotted pajamas. Dad laughed so hard he popped a shirt button. Even so, this story didn't feel quite right either. Do you think the cat thinks this story is funny too? Along came Aunt Jane. What are you doing? She asked. I'm writing a story, the best story, for a contest at the library. I can win a roller coaster ride with my favorite author. Oh, well then, said Aunt Jane, here's all you need to know. The best stories are the ones that make people cry. Can see she's thinking about it. And there's her silly cat. So I gave the bus a flat tire. I sent the monkey to the funeral of his pet goldfish. I turned the turnips into onions, and I made the pirate chop every one. There were lots of tears, but the story still wasn't right. My teenage cousin Annika said, I have news for you. If it's not romantic, it's a loser. So the pirate introduced the monkey to his sister Grace, and they fell in love, and I turned the onions into wedding invitations, and everyone lived happily ever after. Here's the cat. He's writing too. Finally, my story was ready, so I read it to my family. Not enough action, said my brother Tim. Maybe the monkey can fall into the wedding cake, said Dad. That would be really funny. It's hard to cry at a wedding when the groom is a monkey, said Aunt Jane. Annika said it would be perfect if I added a kiss. In all this time, my mother hadn't said a word, so I asked her, What do you think is the best story? She gave me a hug. I think the best story is one that comes from the heart, your own heart. That night after supper, I looked into my own heart and rewrote my story. No more monkey, no more pirate, no more wedding invitations, no more happily ever after. My new best story is about my family and my two best friends, Tara and Josh. It's about my cat, Ollie, who sleeps on his back, and snow days, and toast with strawberry jam. It's about fireworks and rainbows and bike rides. Oh, and there's her cat, Ollie, sleeping on his back. What a silly cat. My biggest problem was keeping the story short. Once I started pulling things out of my heart, it was hard to stop. When my story was finished, I turned it in to the judges. Maybe I'll win that roller coaster ride with Ann Miles, and maybe I won't. Either way, I'll be happy. I'll be a winner because the story I wrote is my own, not somebody else's, and that makes it the best. So, boys and girls, in our story, everyone who gave the girl advice had a different idea about what makes the best story, right? And in the end, the best story for her was the one that came from her own heart. It was about things that were important to her. So, remember, the best story comes from your own heart. See you next time.